military. So look, Iran very much still has military capabilities. Once again, we are seeing that today because they continue their fighting inside of Israel and here in the Gulf states as well. Not far from me, we've seen another explosion towards a port. We've also got in Qatar, Bahrain and Kuwait once being struck again today. So Iran definitely still has the military capabilities. But if the US goes through with these attacks over the next 48 hours and on Tuesday with the deadline that the president has given, it's the retaliation that the Gulf states will be concerned about tonight, Alex.
Okay. Imam Rashid, thank you very much for that report. Let's bring in Randy Manor, retired Army Major General and former Deputy Commanding General of the U.S. Third Army in Kuwait, and Nancy Youssef, staff writer covering national security in the Defense Department for The Atlantic. I'm glad to have you both. General, you first here, sir. Your thoughts on not just the clearly dramatic, successful rescue, but also the president's reaction today?
I hope that this Easter Sunday provides some solace for our military members and their families and gives them a little bit of hope that perhaps Trump might end this war sooner than later so they can come home. I think it was a small miracle that all the military were evacuated safely, despite the fact that they had to destroy another HC-130 on the ground. Our search and rescue assets are very, very limited, so that is a loss as well. I'm sure there'll be much more information that will be disclosed about why those assets were lost. I think, again, this demonstrates fully that the administration's comments that we have air dominance, whatever that means exactly, we cannot fly freely over Iran. They have the ability to attack our aircraft going over that territory, and we need to have our eyes open to not ever underestimate the threats of our enemy. In this particular case, demonstrated to be true.
Nancy, what are you hearing from your sources today? Is the president's bluster well received, or do career officers see this as taking the luster off of their extraordinary military success in that rescue?
Well, I think when you're in wartime, military leaders, military officers, and the rank and file want everything they need to support their mission. And I think the concern is when this kind of rhetoric is introduced, that it's a not helpful factor in their effort to fight this war. Among the things that the president said, that praise be to Allah, I'll remind you that it's Gulf states that have bore the brunt of the attacks by the Iranians. And I think those comments in particular really conflate the mission, in that the president started this by saying at 2:30 in the morning on a Truth Social post that this was about helping the Iranian people. Between that kind of comment, the mention in the speech about destroying Iran back to the Stone Ages, the targeting of infrastructure, it appears, I think, to the Iranian people and to the broader region that this is not a campaign to help them, but rather targeting them and conflating them with the Iranian regime.
And General, you have the New York Times reporting the rescued colonel had only a pistol for his defense, and he hid in a mountain crevice to hide his location. The paper quoted one senior U.S. military official saying, at one point, that officer hiked up a 7,000-foot ridge line, and we know he was injured while doing so. So what does this tell you about what he went through in those 36-plus hours?
It's a tremendous story of resilience and fortitude and courage for that officer to be able to evade capture as he apparently did. And that is absolutely terrific. It's based on the terrific training that they receive. And please understand that it took hundreds and hundreds of people to be able to rescue him, whether it was the search and rescue pilots, whether it was the CIA, the NSA with intelligence assets to try to locate him as well. So this is a success story for our military based on the training and the leadership that we have in our military.
Absolutely. Nancy, though, this is all unfolding while you have Defense Secretary Hegseth, who's carrying out a mid-war Army shakeup. Yesterday, firing Army Chief of Staff Randy George, rather, he fired one, wrote in a goodbye email, quote, "Our soldiers are truly the best in the world. They deserve tough training and courageous leaders of character." So how do top brass feel about the way Hegseth is running this show?
So usually when generals are fired during wartime, it's because of conduct during wartime. But that doesn't appear to be the case here, but rather sort of a personal animosity. The secretary has taken particular interest in the Army and the personnel decisions around it. This is someone who rose to the rank of Army Major in the National Guard before being kicked out. And so on one hand, it doesn't directly impact the war, but I think where it does have impact is that we don't know the reasons for these firings. And so what it's had is this sort of climate of fear that it creates inside the department, but because people don't know why someone is being fired. And I think it makes people less willing to give their candid military advice for fear doing so could cost them their jobs in the absence of a clear explanation for what's happening. And that has an impact on the conduct of the war, because if there's ever a time that top military commanders and the president need candid advice, it is during a war, certainly one as complex as this one. And so that's where I think we'll feel it immediately. Longer term, I think it's raising questions among the ranks about who is a welcomed member of the service, what keeps someone from being fired, and frankly, who will be next? Because I think there's an assumption inside the building that there will be more.
And General The Hill is among several news outlets that Trump spoke to today, and he declined to rule out using ground troops in Iran. Does the president today inspire confidence in any high-risk ground operation that he might be thinking about launching, whether it's retrieving enriched uranium or seizing Karg Island? I mean, how big would a ground operation need to be to achieve either of those goals?
In any kind of ground operation would be extremely high risk, which would result in American casualties. I do not